Today's October 16th, 2021. Last night when I walked out towards the boulevard, but it was at night and it was hard to see, and I wouldn't have been able to capture on video. There was a white powder all over this lawn from I don't know what. Today I see it at the corner. Now, incidentally, I had divine inspiration, some tracking and signaling of I don't know where it came from, in the ESP network of extra sensory perception. Said to Google, or actually like inspired, let's put it that way, to Google nerve gas, see what was involved. Like, is that what sulfur dioxide is? Because I mean, again, I don't have like real first-hand knowledge or training, and I really exactly don't have access to that level of like smart people. So I looked that up, and it took me to BRITTANIA on my MAXIPAD internet, which apparently is different than the rest of the internets. But the answer, and it was through Google, Google Chrome, but the answer was some really long, I mean, there was like a short name for it, which was something sarin, S-A-R-I-N, never heard of it, or there's a pass-through of that, which I don't know how to explain that. And then there was the symptoms, which is shortness of breath, which I have as I walk through Bayside. Then went on some chemical compounds, but even when I try to break down the chemical compounds as just words, the compound word, when I fracture it, doesn't even coptically register as something I can follow in English or in sequencing and cipher. And then it said other symptoms of nerve gas exposure is incontinence. Bladder incontinence, okay, so that happened. Shortness of breath, that's been happening a lot, as has the incontinence. And then, there's another one, which now it eludes me, but that's how hit or miss this area is. It says it smells like hay, H-A-Y, but in this alpha gamma, whatever I'm stuck in, with this set of circumstances and circumventing, where they're inventing ways to explain things dangerously, between a Jean, which sounds like John, but it's Jean with a J, Boudin, Jean Boudin, and Niccolo Machiavelli, which I call Nicholas Machiavelli. It's confusing. Then they said something about CWC instead of CDC. CDC being Germany, I'm assuming, in germ warfare. And CWC being chemical weapon warfare. I mean, like, these are the assumptions I can jump to logistically with a little bit of oomph and help and where to look. And then it says ICI, which is EC, which for me, come here, is VIENICI, Vinici. I think in the other French they call it Viniqua, QUA. And it's still VIEN. But those, again, are the small illuminated effects of being so dangerously close to something that normally brings humans out in sealed suits, like a sealed suit, and breathing apparatus, but yet for some reason at the parts per whatever metric they're going off of in aerosols, aerosols, they're allowing it to just be dispersed in the air. And it says it smells like hay, fresh cut hay, not rotten egg. But again, I have no way of verifying if that's true or not, to protect myself. And then the other thing is, and I just walked by some, I would call, it says U.S. Army, it said U.S. Army on their uniform of sorts, we'll call it cat's pajamas, where they wear like the Timberland construction boots, like they look like they're out of a movie or like a National Guard commercial. But their pattern is not pixelated, although it's the same color scheme and schematic as what I've sometimes seen around here. It's not, it's more of an artistic, like, blob, but that's been spread with the same, the other pattern that I've seen around here, which I don't know if, again, which one's counterfeit, because sometimes I've seen the pixelated one on the news, but is that just a special division of a larger army? Again, I have no idea of being able to spot a real from a fake or a counterfeit, but I know it's important stuff. In the same Britannica article, it also said that during the CWC in 1993, which I think was around Clinton in the United States of America, for White House, he was the president and Hillary was his wife, and I can't remember who was vice president. They didn't make a big deal out of it. It didn't come through. So there it was North Korea and South Sudan, along with two other ones, were not working with the regulations within, and I don't know, again, it gets confusing the way that they write it, so I don't know, but these are the clicks and the symbols that they use when they write these things out, and I have no access to know, and no protection, and no scholar. I know that there's scholars in these things. I would have no idea where to find one. But it's really scary walking on the street. And today, being October 16th, 2021, I don't smell. It's not a solute that's actually like smell, like awareness of the sulfur dioxide smell. But it was present yesterday. And then I'm thinking to myself, how many times do I have to call this in to New York City and 911? I've already called it in 2 or 3 times. Is this a daily occurrence, or are there expectations on this? I don't know, as a good Samaritan, to protect your neighborhood and the people walking on the streets, like, how does that work? And protect yourself. Visual Arcadia is one thing, or like recognizance of what's around. And then they had a weird word for state. They have a different word for S-T-A-T-E, which is stati, S-T-A-T-I in Italian. It was cognata, something like that. I just feel like I've gotten hit with like a stigmata that's not a good sign. I have South Koreans here, but they're saying that North Korea was the one who wasn't compliant, but are they related at all? I would assume by proximity there's some family relations, but I don't know how any of that stuff works. But I can verify there's some here that I can see walking around. for stockpiles of something that they would not work with, the Treaty of Versailles. That was the mention that they had in Britannica. And Britannica, as far as I knew, was Britannia. There's Germania and Britannia, which I thought was French. That was part of the French Cologne and Germany Cologne industrial crossover, before performance sports utility vehicles got out of hand with a spritzer. I don't know. I mean, again, weird powder just shows up on lawns. There's some kind of application. But again, in this town, there's no society to check with or to check in with one of the local leaders to say, hey, I noticed this. Just want to make sure you're aware of it, so you go do your superhero work and whatever. I mean, like a tip line or something. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I haven't figured out how humans work in a society or a large project. I've just noticed that some of them don't function quite as I would expect Mother of Nature would want humans to function. Like a big boom and a bomb goes off, like a sound bomb goes off and they don't even budge. That seems like natural instincts were removed, but that's scary enough of a thought. Star 1978, Star 8378, Nicole Cataruso. It's October 16th, 2021. And it's Earth, Solar System, Milky Way, Universe, Galaxy is broken. And I'm in Bayside Station, Bayside, New York, 11361.